Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. I see some folks coming in. I know this is a hot topic on everyone's minds today and can feel quite stressful. So our hope is that we can walk you through some steps and you're leaving with how to take care of next steps. I'll go ahead and just go through a brief overview of the STEP program and make sure that if this is your first time joining us, maybe you just learned about us in a virtual orientation this week, that you know what other things are offered and where to find them. And then we will get into how to use your advising tools. So welcome everyone. This is our Step Dive into 2025 program. You are in one of our last few transfer talks. So every Wednesday at 3 o'clock on this same Zoom, we lead a session on the need to know topics for transitioning in. These are based off of frequently asked questions our office gets year to year. This is one of our biggest questions and actually the first time that we're treating this as a true transfer talk. In the past, it's been just a transfer connect, but more and more people wanted access to this one. So still coming up, we have parking and some other hot topics that might be needed in the next couple weeks. We also offer sessions called Transfers Connect, and these are smaller sessions. They're made to be socials, so you get a chance to interact with one another, meet our peer coaches. If you're someone who's local or you happen to be in town, we're going to have an in-person one coming up towards the end of this month on August 21st. And that's where to go for help. So just kind of top people to ask and make yourself a quick list of things in case you need as you're getting started. These are really fun. We also have one for student parents or students with dependents coming up soon. So here's what's coming up for us in STEP.
Hi, everybody. My name is Elizabeth. I'm the Research and Involvement Coordinator at the Triton Transfer Hub. So if you've been to the Research and Involvement series under STEP, you probably recognize me. But yeah, if it's your first time at a STEP webinar, hello. I did put on a Research and Involvement series under STEP. We have the recaps page or recordings if you want to look back at those, and that'll be in the chat in just a bit. But we do have some more webinars coming up. This Friday, we have our last session for the Research and Involvement series. So we're going to talk about experiential learning, which is how to get involved. So we have some campus departments that are going to talk about internships, the program UCDC, study abroad, and more. And then next week, we have the undocumented and mixed status services presentation. So you can meet the staff and learn about the services at USS. And then we have Transfers Connect for transfers with dependents. So if you're a transfer student and you're the main caretaker of either a child or another family member, this is a Transfers Connect session to meet other students who also have dependents as well.
And that was what Elizabeth chatted about. We also have a new sub-series coming up very soon, led by our transfer retention specialist. This will be 2 sessions on how to bring your previous academic success from your community college or previous institution here to UC San Diego. Also tips on adjusting to the quarter system, which is always something that transfers are asking for when they come in. So these will be 2 Tuesday sessions starting not next week, but the week after, so coming up very soon. But today we are here to talk about how to use the advising tools that UCSD offers to pick your classes because registration is starting next week. So I'm going to go ahead and hop presentations here. And we are so lucky to have a lot of our peer coaches in the room with us. And I'm going to go ahead and just start with the disclaimer that none of us who are here in the room with you are academic advisors. So we're not going to tell you exactly which classes to take, but we're going to tell you step by step in a slow process of where to go and look for all the different resources that will get you ready to sign up for classes next week. All the folks who are here in this Zoom, or not myself and Elizabeth, but everyone else is available to meet one-on-one as well to go over any of these in a peer coaching appointment. And there'll be a QR code for that on the last screen as well. So we do have the Q&A box at the bottom. You're welcome to send questions throughout. I might post that we might not answer them until the end, but we will save time for questions because I know this is a big topic and there'll be lots of questions coming in. So with that, I'll go ahead and pass to on to introduce herself and let you meet our peer coaches.
Hi everyone, my name is Anne. I am a peer coach for the upcoming school year. I major in data science and my college is Mir. Nice meeting you all.
Hi, I'm also one of the peer coaches. My name is Jen, and my major is developmental psychology, and the college I am in is Six College.
Hello, everybody. My name is Joseph Musako. My major is human biology, and then I'm in Mir College, also one of the peer coaches.
Hi, everybody. I'm also a peer coach. My name is Rion Fernandez. I am a political science major, and I come from 7th College. Happy to be here with everybody.
So as I mentioned, this is going to be a quick overview. The idea here is that you're leaving with a really good path forward of how to go about picking classes and where to go for help if you need it. And with that, we'll go ahead and get us started, and Jen's going to kick us off.
Okay, so I don't know if you guys are familiar with Triton Link, but basically it's like a central portal where you're able to check everything you need on hand. The link is students.ucsd.edu. Three important things I would want to mention is that definitely today check your holds. And usually, yeah, with the hold situation, it will take 72 hours for them to process and clear it out before you're able to enroll in classes. So make sure you check on that first. The second one is WebReg, which we will go in more detail, but it's basically the portal where you register for classes or plan your classes and your appointment time. And then Virtual Advising Center is where you're able to kind of send general questions to major advisors or your college. Okay, so how do you access your enrollment time? So in under classes and enrollment in Triton Link, you click on WebReg. Then after that, there's gonna be a little section where it asks you what quarter you want to register for. Then you select that, and then you're able to see your appointment time on the right side of the screen. And for this in general, you will receive two enrollment time windows with each pass is open for 48 hours. So your first pass, you would only be able to enroll up to 11.5 units, not including the waitlist courses, or you can't waitlist courses. And then the second pass, you can enroll and waitlist up to 19.5. And to be considered like a full-time student, you need to enroll in at least 12 units.
One question that just came in the chat was, are you allowed to waitlist classes during first pass, or is it just not recommended? You should not do it. The system should be set up in such a way that you shouldn't be able to sign up for classes, but a couple years it's happened where there's been a glitch and you can waitlist during that first pass. Do not do it because it's gonna hurt you on your second pass. Okay, so where do you go to find which classes you're going to take? Rion's got us from here.
Yeah, so I'm sure that's the burning question now that we've learned how to or what time we can sign up for our classes. And one of the tools that we can use is called plans.ucc.edu. And essentially, what this is going to give you is a skeleton of what a potential schedule could look like. So what you do is after going to that URL, you're going to select your college. This is the pop-up that comes up once you get to that page. And then after that, you would select your entering year. I believe for all of you, it would be from 2024 to 2025 as your entering year. And then you put in whatever major you are, as well as your department and program, which both are normally the same thing. So for example, if you're doing political science, it will do a drop-down menu of all the poli-sci major, different majors there are. And then after that, on the next slide, what you should see is something like this. So the big thing here is to make sure that it says transfer plan at the top. It normally generates three different kinds of plans, but the ones that you guys want to use are the transfer specific plans. The example here is one of mine, or I put in my information. So this is showing a political science student who is in 7th college that came in 2024 to 2025. So the same date as you guys. And as you can see, it is simply putting out, different courses that you can take as sort of like a skeletal basis. For example, like it says upper division poly, but it doesn't tell you like a specific class to take, right? It's just telling you using both the college requirements as well as whatever major you are in, what you or like what has to be taken, but not what or not the specifics on the classes. The way that you find the specifics on the classes that you specifically need to take, we move to our next slide, is something called the degree audits. And this you can find under your Triton link again, and it is under one of the drop-down menus that is at the top of the screen under advising and grades. And after you generate an audit, you will be able to see specifically what courses you need in order to graduate, and you are able to see, more specifically tailored towards your specific major, your specific college, what you need to sign up for. It's very helpful to plan for not just fall, but also all of your quarters here. And down here, there is an example of what it should look like. It will give you different options of kinds of classes that you can take. Obviously, again, it is not going to tell you specifically what to take, just options of what you can take that would cover, these specific requirements or this specific thing in your audits. And then on the next slide,
I'm gonna
now that you
pause
have,
this.
oh,
I'm gonna
yes,
pause you
sorry.
here. Sorry, Rion. I'm taking questions as we're live on them where it makes sense. So I'm sorry if I'm popping in because that was not part of our plan, but I think it's helpful to talk about them when we're in this subject. So someone's asking for their transfer academic plan. Is IGETC already considered? For plans.ucsd.edu, that is considered. But the difference between these two, degree audit versus plans is general, and it's just kind of an outline of what it would look like for anybody. But you can think about degree audit as your personal checklist of all of those classes. So that's where it's nice to kind of piece those together of suggestions where what plans does is it breaks down what a simpler quarter will look like. And then degree audit will give you the explicit class number options that you need to take. So plans is a good starting point, but then you don't need to figure out which classes you've taken or not. That's what degree audit does for you. So I hope that answers our question that came in the chat. It's kind of a combo of those two. And sorry to interrupt you, Rion.
Yeah, no worries. That's honestly a perfect way to say it. Like you use these two tools in conjunction in order to create your schedule, and you use both of them on top of using the course catalog. So now that you learned like how to figure out what you need to take and the options that you have or the options that you have during the quarter, you are now able to use the course catalog and choose the specific courses that you do want to take for that quarter. And again, this can be found under that same drop-down menu in advising and grades. And this QR code will take you directly to the catalog for this upcoming quarter. So you're able to look and see more details on all of the courses that are offered and specific ones that you may be interested in.
So this is just a like a more detailed overview of the course catalog. From that QR code, go to course curricula faculty, and you'll be able to see all of the departments available at UCSD. As I'm very familiar with the data science department, I'm going to use data science as my example. So the first tab is the undergrad program tab. It's going to give you an overview of like the major requirements, the elective under the track of the major, also minoring in that field, and also like all of the policy procedures and all the requirements if you're coming in as a transfer applicant. Next off, we have grad program tab. It's going to give you an overview of the grad program, but for the sake of time, I'm not going to go through that tab. Next, we have courses. Courses is the most important tab of the course catalog as it gives you courses descriptions, prereqs, and also the number of credits that the course hold. I feel like I use courses tab a lot as I'm planning for class, so make sure to check out when you have time after the webinar. And lastly, we'll have faculty tab. This is just an overview list of all the faculty under that department. A better way to do this is to go into that department website, because they usually have like picture of the faculty members or related work, research lab. So if you're using that for networking purposes, a better approach is to go to that department website.
All right, so we'll take a pause here. And this is where we're going to start talking about the actual tools of building your schedule. So you've made a list, you've looked at plans, you've looked at everything here. Now, where is the actual place where you go and start this process? Joe's going to take it from here.
Yeah, so like Tessa said, you guys have all the resources now to get a good idea of what courses you're going to need to be taking. This is the place that you're going to be registering for classes. And so to start, you can see the red underlined search for classes bar. So you'll be able to put the exact class that you're looking for into that tab and search it. And so one important thing is when you're searching for these classes, you'll see that there's different availabilities, like different times this course is offered, along with different professors. So one good thing to do is to look at this evaluations and click on that button there. It's also in the red underline, and this will give you, um, we'll go into it now. Yeah, perfect. Thank you. You'll see the professor, you'll see the quarter that these evaluations were done. You'll see the average grade received in the class. You'll see the average amount of work hours that they put into this class outside of class. And then you have rated out of 5, learning average, structure average, and environment average. So these are very useful tools to make sure that your workload isn't getting too heavy. Some of these can be like up to 7 or 8 hours for one course. So it's good to build your schedule looking at this. And then you can also click into this and it'll give you even more detailed like breakdowns of the responses from students on these set evaluations. So this is a great tool to use when planning out classes.
And for those average worked hours, we have a question in the chat. Is that per day or per week that they can expect to be working for that class?
That's per week. Yeah, it's not per day. So you can keep that in mind.
And then someone asked here that some of the classes that they're looking for as they're following along show that they have 0 open seats. And seats will open beginning on August 10th. I had that as a quick little blurb here, and I totally forgot to let Joe mention that on this slide. So more seats will open on August 10th. But you also make a really good point, is that you can only, if that's still the case, come when your registration opens, yes, you would waitlist that class and you would do that in your second pass.
Perfect. And so once you've gone through the evaluations, you've found the right professors, the right courses that you want to take, you have this option to plan a course. And so you can do this right now. It's before your enrollment, and basically it saves it almost like if you're shopping and you save an item in your cart, you are planning this course. And once your first pass or second pass enrollment comes, you'll be able to click enroll. But right now, it's just saving that you want to take this course with this specific professor. And so you'll be able to choose your grading option, either a letter grade or a pass, no pass, whichever you need. And then you'll click the confirm button to confirm and plan the class. And you should see it pop up as planned. If you scroll down to the bottom of the page in WebReg, it'll show like your schedule and it should notate that this is a planned course then. And there's some extra things you can get, like a confirmation email. That's always good practice. Once you plan a class, like I said, you'll be able to see this class notated as planned in a schedule on WebReg. And then when your enrollment date arrives, I really want to stress you still have to enroll in the class and press the button and physically confirm your enrollment. So just because you plan a class, it doesn't mean that it automatically you're enrolled into it once your first pass or second pass enrollment time comes up. You still physically have to enroll in the class. So don't forget to do that. And then you can also set a confirmation email once you physically enroll in the class as well.
And as you're planning for class, you may want to know if you're hitting all the requirements. This is totally optional, but this is best practice, is to send your plan schedule to the advisor through VAC. So if you want to follow me in real time, feel free to use the QR code to follow along. So this is VAC. Okay. This will be the first tab. This is ask a question. This is where you will input your question for your advisor. So let's say I'm planning for a class for next quarter. The topic that I want to choose is course scheduling. If I have questions about my GE courses, I will send it to my college, which is John Muir. If it's about courses under my major, I'm going to send it to the data science department. And then this is where you put your question in. And a thing to keep in mind is that advisor won't have all the informations and documents needed to answer to hit off the pain points that you have. So make sure to craft a detailed message and also attach any like important documents in the message so they can help you answer it. And they will be able to get back to you in 2 to 3 business days. And next up, we have meet with advisor. This is something that will be more open during the school year. Right now, I don't believe that all colleges or departments have like drop-in hours for new incoming students, but apparently Mir have. So if you're in Mir, feel free to check this out and bring your questions to the advisor. To join the meeting, it's going to be this link right here. Just click to the link and then sign into Zoom using your UCSD account. Next off, sorry, it's a bit slow. Next up, we have contact record. So this is where you can view your past communication with the advisor. You can read the message, refer it back when you need it. It's usually your message, their response, here, and then the attachment if there is any attachment. And if the box is green, it means that it's an unread message. Next up, we have My Files. It's just a place to store all of the attachment during through your communication with the advisor. So it's very convenient to have if you want to refer it back. The other 3 tabs that I find very helpful is new, our news, FAQ, and useful links. If you ever want like an immediate answer to a frequently asked question, feel free to check these 3 tabs out. They include all of the links, some of like useful steps and instructions about major, minor change, planning for your courses, petitioning for your courses, doing easy requests, and etc. And last, we have academic plans. This is just another way to get to plans.ucsd.edu. So it's just there for you to know.
Are you done with mouse? I don't want to take
Yes.
over if you're having.
Yes.
Okay.
Done with my portion. Sorry.
Perfect. Okay. All right. So here are some best practices that our peer coaches are going to share with you as you get ready.
Yeah, so my favorite tip is I would really set an alarm 5 minutes before your first or second pass enrollment. You really want to enroll in classes like the minute you can, because classes fill up really fast, and the difference of 5 minutes could really affect you getting into a class or you having to wait list the class, especially for like just really popular classes that everybody has to take. So that would be my tip to you guys.
My tip would be just like having like 2 to 3 backup classes per class in case the ones that you want fill up during enrollment, and kind of just adding what Joseph said. It's like best to like kind of look at your course to see whether or not it's like filled up. So that 5 minute mark can be like more so like a switcheroo to like the backup courses you can take.
Yeah, something that I was told when I came here that I continue to parrot is to check the set evaluations constantly on WebReg for each class to find the best fit, because oftentimes there will be some professors that are better than others, or there's some things in terms of workload that will fit into your specific schedule better than other periods. So always keeping up to date with evaluations and what works best for you is very, very important to do.
And my last tip to you is to prioritize classes that have small capacity, as those classes fill up very quickly, like lab classes. So make sure to enroll yourself in those classes first in your first pass.
Okay, and so uh, going through WebReg a little bit further, you must register for at least 8 units in your first pass. You really want to make sure that you're prioritizing getting into 2 classes in your first pass. That way you can just get one more class to make yourself a full-time student with 12 units. This is important because you need to meet, like for your financial aid minimum, you need to be a full-time student, and that means that you're taking at least 12 units. So once your second pass enrollment ends, you really have to make sure you have those 12 units. Plus you can waitlist after that, after 12 units. And if you're going to do that, I would, if you have to waitlist one class that you really want, and then you have the option to add the third class that you may not want so much. I would add the class that you don't want so much so that you guarantee you have the 12 units, and then try and get off the waitlist for the other class. And then you can switch those in the end. You can drop the class that you didn't really want to get 12 units and add the class off the waitlist from the other one. And lastly, if you are on the wait list and you are in the top 10%, you're likely to get off the wait list, so you can keep that in mind. And then lab classes are usually pretty small, and they're pretty competitive and hard to get into. So normally for lab classes, this is kind of the exception.
So let's talk about tips when planning for classes. My first tip I have for you is to incorporate all of the enrollment resources and tool we provided earlier on. So for example, use your degree audit to see classes that you're hitting and missing. Use the general catalog to view prereqs, credit hours, and course description. For elective courses, look out for like learning outcomes and skills emphasized to see if the courses really align with your academic or career goals. Secondly, is to talk to current student. I know that clubs and orgs are not active during the summer right now, but most of them have online group chats that are open for all to join. So I highly recommend just looking around and exploring which clubs offer, and then join the group chat to ask for more insight from current students. And some of the questions that I would suggest asking are what was the workload like? Were lectures engaging? Their grading policy? Were there supports offered during like the class? And also tips for succeeding in the course. And lastly is balance your schedule out. UCSD students usually take 12 to 16 units but we recommend incoming students to only take 12 units just to give yourself time to adjust to the quarter system. And don't take high credit classes in one term and spread them out evenly so you can manage your time and stress level effectively when adjusting to the new environment. So that it is for our presentation. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we are happy to answer any of your questions.
Oh, and then we do have this one last slide here. So I will go ahead and just make sure I'm still presenting on this slide. As I mentioned, peer coaches can kind of slow down or step on take extra few moments on some of these processes as needed. So here's that QR code, and here is where you can book with our peer coaches. And they should have availability for this in next week. I do see a lot of questions in the Q&A, so I'll go ahead and stop sharing screen and kind of prompt our students for these live as we go in some sort of an order, hopefully that makes sense. One of the questions I see is, can I meet with a counselor one-on-one? And the answer for that is that it's going to depend college to college if they offer drop-ins over the summer. So some colleges will offer those drop-ins, and that would be available on the VAC as Ann walked us through. So that's something that you can check out and see if your college offers. Other questions that I saw, one question I saw here was, are there places that students can go to see what types of assignments and what to kind of expect in a class, more of a course description rather than just those gradings within our course schedule? Any of our peer coaches? Because that's not an answer we know off the top of our heads. Okay. That wouldn't be available like a paragraph or a couple sentences on the class in like under the major class schedule that we were looking at last week, Joe? Someone says if their transcript hasn't been reviewed yet, will my degree audit be up to date? It should be reviewed by the time that you need to sign up for classes. You would be able to do that by something you could do is reach out to your academic advisor via the VAC, because your unofficial transcripts were submitted as a part of your academic history that you did earlier in June. And you could say, does this work? That's also where plans is nice because it's assuming that you have a GETSI and it's giving you the classes that you need. Also, I did not know I was screen sharing. I was trying to see if there were appointment slots because someone had mentioned there not being availability. So sorry about that. Okay. For folks asking about financial aid, Jen just sent the link for the virtual financial aid office. If your package hasn't been mentioned, which that one just came through, what your estimated aid was is what your package will be. But if your package isn't showing as processed yet, you can go through that contact link that Jen had just sent. Perfect. Thanks for sending it here as well. But that will be the aid that you can expect. All right. With that, I think I'm going to go ahead and close out our Zoom. We've answered a lot of questions. Our peer coaches are still available. The VAC is another great resource. Thank you for all of your wonderful questions. And best of luck next week. We're here to support. So are the folks via the VAC. Those are real people on the other side of that as well. All right. Bye, everybody.